Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel, Hands on Your Shoulders. My name is Monty Joseph, and on this channel I take time to speak about addiction and how it affects people. I talk about sobriety, and I also talk about recovery. And sorry, it's been a while because I was out hunting last week, and so, I didn't get an opportunity to, cobble together any videos or anything like that. So here we are. I do believe the next thing that I want to speak about is actually it's not just in regards, it is in regards to chaos and the chaos that an addict actually has in their life. One of the things that always happens is that the person actually creates such a chaotic life that almost it pretty much justifies how they act, and it almost pretty much gives them permission to act and continue to act the way they do. And in that there is a lost person who is trying to find their way out, but just basically kind of cobbling together a few good ideas, a bunch of bad ideas, and getting themselves to the next fix, right? So in that chaos, there is a traumatized individual, right? The person who has faced a great amount of trauma. And that is where, the chaos kind of ensues and continues. And when they're in that state, there is no kind of, getting themselves out of that. But once they're there, I mean, it's easy for them to, be in it because they're in it. And, people who are on the outside of that chaos end up being a witness as to what it is that's going on for them, but absolutely have no idea as to how to change that direction, right? So it's it's them, trying to manage their life and their lifestyle because of what it is that they're always looking to do. Their ultimate goal is to use. And, however that looks for them, they will make use of, right? And so all that chaos usually ends up coming the manipulations, the stealing, the cheating, and the lies. They are experts at it. I'm really good at it. Or I used to be anyways. I'm not that great at lying anymore. I'm not great at being a manipulator anymore, because I'm not, trying to get my fix anymore or as much. But one of the things I end up recognizing late in my recovery was that I was a chaos junkie. I loved chaos. I loved being in it, and I loved participating in it and being a part of it. And in the end, I really enjoyed being around it, but not involved in it, right? So directly anyways, I enjoyed other people's chaos because it gave me something to focus on as opposed to focusing on me. And that ends up being the chaos that a person who is an addict has in their lives. They have other things outside themselves that they can focus on, so they will gossip, they will manipulate, they will steal, they will cheat, they will lie, to get their fix, for one, but also they really don't want you involved in it, but at the same time, that's also what there is going on in their lives, is that chaos. And when I finally got to a place of calm, it was the realization that I had food in my fridge, the rent was paid, there was insurance on the truck, there was gas in the truck was running fine, the battery wasn't going to go dead, I wasn't going to lose my apartment, I had a good job and all that sort of stuff, and everything was fine. Everything was great. I had no chaos, and I didn't know what to do with that because I had never lived without chaos. And all of a sudden I had none. And it was really difficult for me to kind of switch that off. You know, that worrying feeling of like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen next. I need to be prepared and ready and cautious and alert to whatever comes next. So I didn't know what calm was until that moment. And then when I, you know, had it, I was like, I don't want to let this go. So, you know, keeping the calm has always been something that I kind of, you know, make a very big, huge part of my life is the calm. But largely, you know, my life was full of chaos. You know, is my truck going to start today? Am I going to have to buy a new battery? Or is my starter going to give out? Or is a tire going to be flat? Or am I going to get fired today? You know, so there was 500,000 things whirring around in my head as to what was going to go wrong as opposed to what was going to go just fine. Right? So when it comes to your chaos, start paying attention as to where that comes from, when it first started. And you don't actually have to heal it at first. I think first you just need to recognize that it does exist in your life. And once you can identify it and say like, that's where my chaos comes from, then you can actually kind of figure out as to how you want to work on that. But we will get into that as well later on in the next video. I do believe the next part that I want to speak about will be in regards to unpacking. We're going to learn to unpack. Okay? So, with that said, thank you very much for listening. If this is your first video on getting to see on this channel, welcome. As always, be safe, have fun, and play nice with the other kids.